Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings, the show where we put you three questions. You have your say, and we have our say. Do excuse my lateness on this one, but I have been injured. I've been recovering from going to the hospital. I'll tell you a little bit about it tomorrow. And if you was waiting for the podcast, that's why that hasn't materialised just yet. We will be trying to get something done before Nottingham Forest on Saturday. But let's get straight into the musings. New season, new musings. I've got three questions. I pitted them to you. So let's go. News moving that Vlasic, Diop and possibly Ben Rama will be sold before the window shuts. Are we making a mistake? Now, Vlasic and Ben Rama have both gone. Vlasic went to Torino today, and Issa Diop, I think, went for £15 million to Fulham yesterday. I think decent business, to be quite honest with you. But Ben Rama, will this be a mistake letting them leave? Would it be a mistake? I'm not sure if it would be a mistake letting them leave. I think I think them players had to go. Vlasic wasn't in Moyes' plans. Diop has regressed a long way in the last 3-4 years since he joined us. He's just not the player he was or he once was, and I don't think he'll ever be the player he once was when he first joined. He's sort of mid-20s now. He was early 20s when he joined us. A lot of potential. Had a really good first season, but just hasn't fulfilled his potential. I think we've done well to get the money we did for him in the end. And Ben Rama, look, I'm not a big fan of Ben Rama, but it all depends, really. It all depends on who comes in. Will it be a mistake? It'll be a mistake if we haven't got any quality. Now, people are saying, like, you know, we needed to replace some of the players that we did last season before we done any. I don't think that's necessarily true because last season we had a thin squad. But what we mean by a thin squad is that there was no one apart from the front 11 that could come in and challenge for first team places. Now, if you let go 5 or 6 players, but bring in 3 or 4 that can realistically play, you know, let's be honest. Noble couldn't, his legs couldn't hold up. Vlasic just wasn't up to par. Diop had to come in when he had to come in. Yarmolenko wasn't never going to make the first 11 or challenge for the first 11. I think Ben Rama struggles at times. So you got a couple of youngsters there, but I think the importance, what you've got to do is bring players in that can challenge for first team, that can easily slip in if there's an injury or if you want to change it up. And challenge the quality that we've got. Skamaka's come in. He's going to challenge the quality that we've got, you know. And then Antonio's going to be a good backup and will be able to stand in when need be. Flynn Downs has come in. I think he's a better and more energetic. He's going to last 90 minutes more than what Noble did. If a defender comes in, you'd be more comfortable picking him over, say, Issa Diop, who struggled at times. If someone else comes in on the wing, you're gonna be more comfortable picking them over Yarmolenko. They're not first team starters, so I don't think we need, like, if say for instance Conor Gallagher came in now, another winger, another defender, they're going to challenge for the first team. A left back I think is the key position, to be quite honest with you. I'm not too concerned that they let them go, but I'd like to say that they wouldn't let them go without replacements lined up. But this is West Ham United. But let's see what you guys think. Let's see what your opinions is on this. And Mark Sherburn-Brown, no issues with any of these transfers. They have all failed to live up to the expectations and no point in carrying them. Maybe we should have a squad that can all make the first team rather than bought as backups. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, Mark. Stevie Ray, selling Diop has to be done. When a player wants out, let them go. Yeah, let's be fair as well. He did refuse to play by all means on a Sunday because he already had this move lined up and he didn't want to play and get himself injured. That's not the case with Benny or Nico, so don't sell. We are paper thin already unless we have 2 guaranteed replacements this window. It's a mistake. Grant Croxford says Moyes doesn't trust them, so no long-term future. Surely buying then selling, loaning would make more sense, though. Only if players have not replaced with players Moyes believes to be a better fit, says Warwick Betts. If we can sign replacements and get a good fee for those 3, then yes, of course. George WHU, come on your iron, says Vlasic and Diop aren't of the quality to be where we want to be. So happy to see them go. At the very least, Ben Rama is a very good option off the bench. We're going to talk about Ben Rama in a second. And can be unplayable on his day. Definitely should keep him, if not a guaranteed starter. I get we need to sell players, but selling Ben Rama is too far, and it defeats the objects of having a thin squad, says JP Hammers. I'll take a couple more. Clariton WHU says, Benny, I'm very sad about how people see him. He's an absolute beast of a player and just needs consistency. Diop, however, I think it's time to cash in. I would rather have 20 million for him, but the closest to that I'm happy with as well. And Gunnar Hay says, no, I don't think so. Once they get replaced, I don't think they're any good enough and they've had their chance. Let's take a couple of comments on here as well. Simon Carter says, I fear for the season squad getting thinner. I would keep Ben Rama. Vlasic can move on. I can't wait to see more of Downs and Coventry. Adam Curtis, thoughts on a 3-1 Matt. Different show, mate. If you want to ask the questions, you have to tune into a different show. But yeah, a lot of people sort of agreeing with me. But, you know, Ben Rama does split opinion, which gets us on to number 2. Is Ben Rama being given a bad rap by some fans? Or are the criticism fair? He divides opinion more than anyone in the squad. Now, I'm not a big fan of, say, Ben Rama. I'm going to be honest with you. I know that people absolutely like, you know, he's like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. Say Ben Rama. There is no in between with him. There's nobody sort of says, oh, he's okay, and you know, I don't know. Like, there's some people that thinks he's a genius for what he did for Brentford, but for me, like, although his stats are quite impressive, and you know, statistically, I don't think we could let him go without getting in someone that's going to at least sort of contribute. But it's the way he plays. It's the type of player he is. Like, I know this sounds, it's going to sound greedy, it's going to sound stupid, but for the type of player he is, he's a luxury player. He needs to do more. He needs to keep the ball more. He needs to take on a player more. He needs to work harder. He needs to excite fans, because if he's not doing any of that, he's not doing anything, to be honest with you. Like, assists, yeah, he was up there, but you know, we had a good season last year. Let's see how he is when the chips are stacked against us. That's when you know, you can judge a player. You know, like, you can say all you want about Dimitri Payet. He's no Payet. No way near. Payet could get a ball when he can make things happen. Ben Rama, he gets the ball and he loses it too much. This is just my opinion. If you got a different opinion, please leave it in the comment section down below. I can see lots of comments coming in the live chat here. But apart from the odd bits and pieces, he does nothing. He does nothing. Is it his position? Maybe, but you know, is it David Moyes? Knock the confidence out of him, maybe, but you know, that's down to Ben Rama to sort of re-find his form and show everyone why he should be in there, make himself undroppable. And he just doesn't do that, I'm afraid. He doesn't do that. He has flashes of brilliance, but that's all it is, flashes. You know, if you look at, there's been some exciting players over West Ham over the years. People like Paolo Di Canio, Al Berkovic, Yossi Benayoun. They've done it consistently. You know, Dimitri Payet, they've done it consistently. That's how if you're going to be that luxury player, that's what you've got to do. You've got to be an asset. And for me, he loses the ball too much. He's too weak on the ball, doesn't take on a player, finds himself out of position. He's slow. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but that's my opinion on him. And I'm sure you're going to see differences of opinion in the comment section. Let's have a look at that now. Mark Sherman Brownlee bottles out of tackles, doesn't put in a shift, and based on last Saturday's performance, I don't think he wants to be here. Everyone can have an opinion, says Warwick Betts, on whether he is or isn't good fit for us. What shouldn't be divided is when he's on the pitch to back him and not get on his case. which I agree with. George WHU says he's a good player and I like him, but if you understand the frustration, you feel like you more regularly get 7 out of 10 performances from Fornals and Bowen, where Ben Rama will either be fantastic or underwhelming. Because of his talent and reputation, says Stevie Ray, there is a high level expectancy from some fans. I think he's done good, not amazing, but good, especially considering how he hasn't been favoured by Moyes for most of the time he's been here. He's contributed well in our last 2 seasons. ZS says, personally, I really like Ben Rama and some of his decision making is questionable, but I think some of the criticism he gets is really harsh. Grant Coxford, he was a frustrating player for Brentford, fans in the Championship. How was that step up to the Premier League and improve? Remember, Moyes wanted Watkins and was giving Ben Rama instead. I don't think he's doing awful, says Conor Hayes. If you put him back in the Brentford's team this season, he'd be their star man, but he's not consistent enough to be part of this squad. He doesn't do enough to win us games at vital moments. Liam Otley Atcott says, I really like everything about him as a person. He seems a top guy, decent footballer, and on his day can change games. Don't know what the harm is, at least having them on the benches, because you can't just keep everyone on the bench all the time. They want to play. Ben Rama is being set up to fail due to being played out of position. Put him in the middle where he can pull strings, says David Brooks, and we'll see the mercurial player we all know he can be. Last time he played there was at Leeds 2 years ago. Rewatch that game, you'll see class. I disagree, mate. I disagree. Ballon Dawson says too, yes, his numbers prove otherwise. I feel he gets a bad rap sometimes compared to players like that, Fornals and Lanzini. And Hosea GSB out says, yes, Ben Rama is getting a bad rap from the fans, to be honest. So let us know what you think. 50-50 there. Number 3, there is 4 this week. There's a bonus one. Realistically, of all of those do leave, how many do we need to be competitive in all competitions, as a thin squad last year will in essence become even thinner? Now, I believe we need another 3. I think the 3 that are going, no, actually, without Ben Rama going, I think we need another 3. A midfielder, a left back, and a centre back. I think we'll get a centre back on loan. I think we will. I think we'll still try to pull out a couple of deals for people like Brozier. But knowing West Ham's track record, I don't think it'll go that well, to be quite honest with you. But I think we need another 3 to be in a better position than last year, because, as I say, 3, not just fillers, not get to the last day of the season and start signing the likes of Vlasic again. 3 well thought out, somebody that's going to improve our team or at least challenge the first team, and we'll be okay, because you'll be able to sort of chop and change players. So 4 would be really good, but we need to start doing business. We can't go into it with what we've got now. We are a bit light. And there is only about 2 weeks left. So MSB says we really do need to bring in players that can positively impact the squad and who can make the first team. Every one of them should be fighting for their places, even Rice, Antonio, etc. Competition for places will raise our standards. We could definitely do with another, says George, attacking midfielder regardless, and with Diop leaving, another centre-back. Want Ben Rama to stay, but if he leaves with Cornet and Fornals on that side, even Antonio, if Scamacca starts up front, I think we should have enough there. That's the $1 million question, says Ian Motley Acott. Not only do we need to replace all that we have left with better quality, but now we all know need to replace those yet to leave, and we have to make more signings to give us some squad depth. It's never going to happen. It's going to be the same 11 again. We would need at least another 5 signings and some youth players to be involved more. With Vlasic and Diop out, we will have 18 outfield players and 4 goalkeepers. Ideally, one of those goalkeepers is Lone Soul, Trott or Randolph. And we have space for centre-back, left-back, centre midfield, attacking midfield, winger, centre-back, left-back are most urgent at the moment. No, centre midfield may be fine if Downs can step up. Grant Coxon says left-back, centre-back, cam and striker all still needed. Claret and WHU says, I feel we need another centre-back and left-back regardless, especially if Diop has gone. Masuaku on loan and Oggy probably going to the end of the season. If he isn't extended again, but overall centre-back, left-back, centre midfield, CAM, left midfield, left winger, and Benny and Vlasic go, well, how many do you want? If all of those leave, I said we need 2 new attacking mids and replace a centre-back and a left-back, says Conor Hayes. We need to make more signings because our squad is very thin. That says Josiah. I don't know, where did Belotti sign for anyone? Does anyone know? I'll check but he might still be available. And the bonus question this week, bonus number 4, the team didn't look up to par against Manchester City. That's my opinion. In some opinions, I read, but in my opinion. Do you agree with this, or is judgment against the champions a bit over the top? I'll take some of the comments from the comment section down below. It's not really one for me. I didn't think we was up to, but I'm going to take comments, and I'm going to take the comment section in the live chat. Mark Sherman says we were poor. We didn't press them at all. We let them dictate everything at the game. Poor tactics from Moyes. They pressed us when the keeper was taking the kicks with 3 players and they had possession. They were running Antonio into the ground. We should have pressed better. George says, I think it's a bit of both. We were quite poor on a day, poorer than we should have been. But we do need to remember just how incredible this City side is, and they're not accurate benchmark of what our season could be. Grant Cox says there's a bit of both, not up to speed. Could have been a Betway Cup. City were deadly and world class, but stood out, including Deck. So we would have struggled anyway. Lack of attacking ideas and cutting edge is a worry, though. The effort was poor, but it's a long season to give them time. If we beat Forest, then everyone will forget the City game. We can expect to win or take the points every match of the season, but what you should expect is the players put in 100% effort every time. Conor Hayes says, I think we've got to a stage, the team where they've got to be able to receive criticism. As good as City were, we let them bully us and we could have played better. We had the same team just 3 months prior and drew with them, but we can't judge too much on that result. I'm going to take one more from here. We didn't look as good as we did at the end of last season, but they have made some monster signings. Diaz was a bastard for Antonio and could really get into the game. But Scamacca did look very promising when he came on. Bossed the air for the rest of the game. He did do that, mate. Let's take some of yours. Definitely unfit, says Gravy OB. Let's have a look. I think we were just happy to get the fixture out of the way. I'm glad it was 2-0 and not 8-0. Haaland looks like a beast. He looks like a unit, doesn't he? But I think we give them too much respect, to be quite honest with you. We were below par and suddenly got punished by a world-class striker. We need a centre-back urgently, even if Bonner and Dawson are fit for Sunday. Dawson isn't the best. Bonner will never be the same again at his age, and 0 cover centre-back not good enough. Let's just say Graham Lindsay says hi from Canada. We really need to up our game. Zuma injured all the bloody time. Looks on the pitch for ages. He wasn't injured on Sunday. There is going to be a buzzing first home game, but we should have enough to beat Forest. Nicky Bellotti signed for Roma. I thought he came from Roma. Oh, or did he come from Fiorentina? I don't know. City had a plan to counter our game, and they worked it to perfection, says Scott Wright. Well, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings. We'll be back tomorrow night with Friday Night Pint before we I think I'm going to do the preview for the City game on Saturday. Forest game on Saturday. That's up on Saturday for Sunday. And we're going to get some sort of podcast done for the patrons, seeing as I knocked myself bandy and ended up in hospital this week. But yeah, so keep it locked here. If you're new around here, subscribe. If you ain't a patron yet, go and check that out. And yeah, one thing left to say. Thanks for joining me. Come on, you irons.